Hey guys, welcome back to class. For those that want to follow me and know when I'm posting new stuff, follow me on Twitter at @Brycon_raw. And of course, if you want to know how my life is on social media, I do not Snapchat, unfortunately. I might get into it, maybe not, but until then, follow me on Instagram at Brycon_raw. Cheers. Alright guys, so basically what I am doing now is kind of falling into relationships, right? I have been traveling, I've been finding mentors, I've been doing a whole bunch of things, right? And what I've learned that basically just exponentially grew my own self and my character as a person has been relationships, right? So there was this book that I came across with by Eric Berne. It's called The Mind Games That People Play. And what I found so interesting about this is that a lot of the things that we do is because we haven't mentally matured ourselves, right? So, for example, you'll have people that kind of act out when they're drunk, or they'll ask for advice, and it's basically, people try to help them all the time. They're like, hey, here, take this, why don't you go to AA, or how about, you stay at my place, and people take advantage of that, right? They don't want to do anything. They don't want to progress. They don't want to innovate. They don't want to grow. They don't want to mature as a person, as a character, as a personality, as a partner. And you start seeing this within relationships. I saw this a lot within a lot of relationships. I see it in other people. I see it in myself. I see it in even the closest people to me. So mind games that people play, I want you to be aware of this, and this is because it's fueled by the fear of intimacy. Now remember this, I'll repeat this one more time after I go through the different examples. So of course, flirting, you see two adults doing this, right? And basically what they're doing is just kind of being playful. Now what Eric Berne was talking about in his book is that we go through 3 different developmental stages, or what he would call ego states, which is child, adult, and parents, right? So of course, when it comes to people acting out, they want to be the child and they want someone to actually take care of them. So they'll be drunk, and of course it'll be a situation where, they're just like, I'm gonna do whatever I want because I know that you'll forgive me because I am the child and you're the parent, right? But it could be a situation where it could be your best friend, it could be your partner, it could be anybody that you've known in your life. It's weird, right? So you have this idea that some people don't really mature, and we all know someone that hasn't matured mentally. They're still a child. They don't want to grow up, right? So another situation where you would have an inconsistency of behavior would be in relationships. So of course you'll have couples that go to therapy, individuals that go to therapy, right? So the therapist will be the parent and the clients will be the children. So of course, within a relationship, they'll basically argue. Like, hey, Brian, he doesn't clean anything. He doesn't do the laundry, he doesn't take the trash. And the therapist is like, so Brian, why don't you do any of this? Like, do you feel like you're inadequate? Do you feel like you're not a good partner? And then I started feeling like, I guess maybe he's right. He's a professional. He did get a doctorate in psychology. Maybe he should, oh my God, I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. So that starts becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or when I go to a therapist, it could be the same thing. Basically, I'm like, hey, here are my problems, blah, 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 blah. And the therapist just gives me wrong advice. That's because the therapist doesn't want me to improve. He wants me to be with him, right? It could be, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. I'm just here to help you. You should probably do this. Wrong advice. Keep coming back, right? Extremes in relationships could be that, the wife entices the man or her partner to basically initiate sex. So I will initiate sex and she's like, that's all you think about, huh? And then I'm just confused. I just don't understand. I thought you wanted it. She's like, that's all you think about, right? And I'm just like, this is very confusing. I don't understand this. And that could definitely diminish a lot of intimacy, trust, even passion within a whole relationship that could be from 2 weeks to years, right? So once we start seeing these patterns within people, we can actually distinguish it a lot faster. We can avoid them. We can see it within ourselves. We can see it in other people. Now, the extremes of these would be like, you have a thief, and basically they're stealing or killing people, and they're like outlandishly trying to be lavish about it, like putting rims on their cars or like spending money that is just so loud. It's just like, hey, look at me, look at me. So like the movie Catch Me If You Can, same idea. The child trying to be caught because his parents didn't treat him well, or the relationship was just not right. It could be weird situations where the author actually called it rapo, and that's basically kind of like one of the partners doesn't want to be held responsible for sex. So it's kind of like the same thing, like, oh, that's all you think about, right? But it just gets a little bit more extreme. And of course, the uproar of like, why are you doing this? Like, I thought I knew you, right? So it starts confusing people. But again, it's just because they've had some trauma, they have trust issues. We all have trust issues, we've all been hurt, and being vulnerable and intimate with someone takes a lot of time, because that's what we do within the first part and section of our relationships. So I thought that was very interesting that, you would definitely take in consideration, especially when you're meeting a lot of people, because if there's something that you don't like about a person, avoid it, right? So that'll definitely save some time, effort, and energy within a relationship. So hopefully this gave you a couple of tips to kind of see what kind of relationship you're in and whether you want to keep going at it. Alright guys, so I'm out and about. What I just talked about. Peace.